I will be working closely with the other analysts in the response plan creation process. Complying with GLBA, FISMA, and standards for reporting to law enforcement in the case of a serious breach are important aspects of incident response. Reporting regulations can vary by state and region, so it is important to ensure that GMB complies with all the necessary regulations in order to avoid penalties and fines.
The IT risk analyst will enforce ISA standards by implementing a proper incident response plan that identifies who is responsible when a response is needed and the actions to be taken by such individuals. The critical security control of application software security will be used to manage the security of software to identify risk and correct security weaknesses. Continuous vulnerability assessments prevent the exploitation of vulnerabilities, and an analysis of audit logs are essential to the response of security incidents, policy violations, and fraudulent activities.
As cyber threat analysts, it is important that we secure the network to ensure that the network environment is safe from the current insider threat as well as for investigative purposes. We will put internet access under maximum restriction, with the only granted privileges being the ones necessary for employees to do their jobs. We will attend any meetings necessary with executives, law enforcement and digital forensics officers, as well as shareholders to update them on cyber-related anomalies and procedures.
The network security tools that were triggered during the incident will be reviewed and further investigated in compliance with law enforcement and digital forensics officers. Network packet transfer during the incident will also be reviewed and investigated. After the incident is mitigated, GNB's cybersecurity framework will be reviewed, retested, and revised to ensure it is safe from future insider threats.
As the ISO, we will be working alongside with the compliance and cyber threat analysts to respond to the incident. All access points within the company will be heavily restricted, as employees will need permission to access information if they need it. Executives will be notified of the breach, and the extent of the damage will be noted. New possible security measures will be discussed in meetings with the compliance analysts. Once all information is presented to the appropriate persons, all of the data in security systems will then be reviewed, and all the data that was compromised will be noted and recovered. An investigation will be conducted with the cyber threat analyst, and new security measures will be set in place. The final step is to run multiple tests on devices associated with GNB to see if there are any security flaws that can harm the data.
As a behavioral analyst collaborating with compliance analysts for the response category in NIST, I will make sure the appropriate response planning is conducted according to an employee's behavior. If an employee is showing signs of behavioral changes, a response will be done to assess the issue to prevent an insider threat. In the response phase, a behavioral analyst is to report the behavioral signs to executives, shareholders, the compliance analyst, and law enforcement if necessary in severe cases.
It is important to get constant feedback from employees regarding the behaviors of their fellow colleagues. This is crucial in understanding the thought process that occurs during acts of espionage. Constant monitoring of employees' behaviors will allow us to catch on to any irregular activities early on and actually help to prevent any security breaches from occurring in the first place. Working with the compliance analyst will help round out these policies and allow them to be more effective when put in place.